Hello and welcome back to the A&R Podcast. I'm your co-host Ryan.
I'm your other co-host Addison.
And today we are reviewing the movie The New Romantic. The New Romantic follows Blake Conway, an aspiring journalist, a hopeless romantic and college senior who is terrified of graduating. In order to escape her looming post-graduation fate, which includes student debt and zero romantic prospects, she becomes a sugar baby. As she documents the adventures in the hope of winning a journalism award with the generous cash prize, she sets out on a quest to figure out if society is right to judge these women, and if her own self-worth comes with a price. So, let's hop right into it. What do you think of it? Just like we've done with every single podcast, what were your thoughts about the opening scene?
The opening scene. Oh God, I forgot it again. Do you remember it?
Yeah, the opening scene. It's where she's giving a monologue about how love is dead. Because she keeps we see it only happen once, but she hooks up with some frat bro or whatever.
Yeah, did they hook up? Probably.
They made out behind the place that they were at, but other than that,
yeah.
No. I felt that the opening scene was so, I guess annoying is the best word, because she's like, love is dead. Everyone just wants sex.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it's like, and she's like, the grandest gesture now is swiping right instead of left.
Oh, yeah,
Unlike
that was
my
amazing.
parents who, did grand gestures and whatever.
Oh,
I don't know.
gosh.
Grand gestures are still a thing now.
Yeah.
It's just, in the swiping right and left, that's not
Find someone somewhere else if you want something else.
yeah, because obviously as we see, her, which I actually was kind of surprised. So she talked about grand gestures and stuff like that. I thought that oh wait, no, there was a grand gesture. The whole Sleepless in Seattle thing, which I didn't understand. That was the grand gesture. Yeah, but my point of that was, I don't know. She's setting up all the stuff that's going to happen in the back half. We see this happen one time. We see her hook up. There should have been more examples, or maybe a montage or something like that. Because it's you can't just say, love is dead. I've only hooked up with one frat bro, so now I believe that love is dead.
Yeah.
No. And then, so obviously the whole main draw of the movie compared to other movies is that this movie, she becomes a sugar baby.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts about how, I guess, they portrayed being a sugar baby?
I don't know. They portrayed it pretty fine. Except at the end, it seemed like maybe the message they were trying to show is that, the last time that they met, that there was one of those power dynamics where you can't actually give consent, type of thing. Yeah, and then also just you can't really get any emotional fulfillment from it. But I guess that just means that it's not for everybody, because this character was searching for romance in a real relationship, whereas the other person who was so chill and happy with it that she met and got introduced to it, I guess, was happy with it, but it seemed to be that was what she was looking for, not looking for something more real.
Yeah. I agree with you about the whole power dynamic and consent thing, because yeah, watching her get raped was not fun.
Yeah.
That was so, I want to say it was weird. It was horrible to watch.
Yeah, it was just I guess kind of confusing in a way, because
Why did you say that?
I guess it's confusing because you don't, I guess, really understand it. What is happening right now?
Oh, I
Like,
understood what was happening.
I mean, like, I understood what was happening, but also, like, I couldn't really know if, I don't know, it was just kind of weird. Yeah,
Did you
I
get
don't know.
that he was raping her?
Well, you see, I got that vibe. That's why I'm like, you
Mhm.
can't really give consent. But, like,
Mhm.
at the same time, like, I don't know how she was thinking of the situation. Like, she was
Well, she was
obviously sad.
crying.
Yeah, she was crying, but I didn't know if she was crying because she didn't want this to happen to her or because she knew just it wasn't real.
Personally, I think it was because she didn't want it, especially because a few things. Number one of the first things that Morgan says about being a sugar baby is that you don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think that was a big thing about that because Blake obviously didn't want to have sex. She didn't even want to go to his house, but he
Yeah.
forced her.
Yeah.
So, like, and I think that's like another example, not another example. I think this is a good example of like in a the quote different kinds of rape because
Mhm.
it's not always going to be like where some maniacal villain like finds a passed out drunk person and just like bam, I shall have sex with you. No, it can just even be something
Yeah.
like this.
It doesn't have to like be violent.
Yeah,
Um yeah, that makes
which
a
I
lot of sense cuz
mhm,
the
which I
whole
think
thing is, I'm sorry. I was just going to say that consent needs to be like a definite yes, not just
yeah. And she doesn't even say anything.
yeah, she doesn't say anything.
Yeah. Which you have to give it to the actor who plays Blake, Jessica Barden, because that scene was like very good. Like the
Mhm.
face emotions, 10 out of 10. Like she doesn't have to say a word, and you already know straight up she ain't for this.
Yeah.
So yeah. But back to like the whole sugar baby thing. I feel like well, I've never been a sugar baby myself, so I can't attest to,
Yeah.
but I feel like since this is one of the very few times that you see it in media, I feel that was very interesting that was like this because so I know some people who are like that, but also so it's like a fine relationship between the sugar baby and the sugar, I'll just say parent, usually
Yeah.
daddy, but whatever. Um, and this person is also dating someone at the same time and it's like all good.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I feel because I don't know, I was gonna say maybe somehow that they would become friends in the end, Blake and
Uh,
Ted, I think his name was Ian,
yeah.
not Ted, Ian. um
I feel like that would have been kind of toxic though.
why do you say so?
Because I don't know, he just didn't seem for like, I don't think that would have worked because he didn't seem to actually really care about her at all. Just like she asked for romance, I'll give her romance. I don't want a real, I guess, like a really emotional relationship. I just
Hmm.
want more of a physical one,
Yeah,
and material one.
yeah, from what it seems to me is not always the case or usually not the case, maybe not, from what I've from what I've seen and from what I've heard people say, it's more of just like instead of physicality, it's more of like kind of like sharing photos. And I think what's really weird is the fact that Ian is just so turned off from a possible relationship. Cause like
Yeah.
I don't know, this movie with the topics is very, I guess, hard to navigate. But I'll say this: he's not even he doesn't want to know anything about Blake. He doesn't want and he doesn't want Blake to know anything about him. So, as you were talking about a physical relationship, yeah, like an actual physical relationship. Like when they were talking about like, oh, is this what it's like to be a prostitute?
Yeah.
In a sense, the movie kind of shows that because I feel like in a relationship like that, I don't know, emotions could or possibly would be shared between two people.
Mhm. Maybe that's just kind of how it is. You just don't have a connection emotionally with the person.
Hmm.
Because I mean there kind of was a sugar baby sugar daddy relationship in Pose with Electra and her
Oh yeah,
man.
Dale.
Yeah, Dale.
But that showed like how people can actually share emotions in a sense.
Yeah.
Because in that show, Electra actually seemed to like the guy for more than just his money.
Yeah,
The
true.
money was a big thing, but it wasn't the only thing.
Mhm. Maybe people who are in those relationships can get like some emotional satisfaction,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, which I feel like that's what they showed. They should have showed more with Morgan, because Morgan
yeah.
just drops off like after like a fourth of the movie, which was really weird.
Yeah, they probably should have kept her in for a while longer. Oh gosh.
Yeah. So should we? Oh wait, I do want to talk about this. So it's an indie movie. The song that I like, it's a very indie movie. It's very aesthetic.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
like just with all the clothes and stuff. I don't know what it's for, but or not what I want to compare it to, but it's like in a sense like kind of all indie movies have like in a sense a similar style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this had the very indie style with, especially with the I don't know why, but like the yellow sunglasses.
Oh yeah. I thought
Yeah,
also with
and the
the
music
like
as well.
the music and also the way they shot the camera with the back really blurred with those big dots that one
Oh
night of the
yeah.
wedding. That was very like yep, indie vibes.
Yeah. And they actually did use like color to their advantage as well. Like there were some scenes that just like were very nice in like color. Like probably the best example was in Morgan's bathroom actually.
Okay.
Should we talk specifically about some characters now, starting with
Sure.
Blake?
Yeah.
Did you like her? Did you not like her?
Um
I thought she was okay.
yeah, she was okay. She was just I kind of was really like I don't know, maybe mad at the fact because there were writers who wrote this in. Maybe mad at the writers for making her like so dramatic when she got that piercing, because I mean
Hmm.
I got the exact same piercing and it it's not screaming worthy. Like oh my gosh, but I mean
Well,
like
from
helmet
I don't know,
would be painful. Like putting the helmet on would be very painful. So
cause
they should have
pressure.
maybe emphasized that rather than
Hmm.
like her actually getting the piercing. I don't know. Uh, other than that, that dramatic part, I thought
Hmm.
she was fine. Sometimes, like, I don't know, she just seemed a bit disinterested, but also, I think I've seen that actress before, and that seems to be just the way she looks. Like, when, I don't know.
Yeah, she was in the other Netflix series, The End of the Effing World.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Personally for me, I felt I agree with you about the dramatic part, but I just feel like not with like the piercing part, but just when she talks about love, she's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah.
love is dead. Love is dead." Like
Okay, yeah. Too dramatic there, too.
I don't. It doesn't make sense because here's the thing, okay? What do I want to say to not sound like a horrible person?
It's okay. Sound like a
I'll
horrible
I'll,
person.
I'll say this. She she is what yeah, she's she's conventionally attractive. Her
Mhm.
character is nice. Her character is smart. And she's making it seem like she'll never find anyone. But literally, like, obviously she does with Jacob, but it's just, I feel like possibly maybe her dramaticness with love, but I feel like it should have been more on this about how love is dead because she should have been talking about how maybe relationships are finite because her parents got divorced instead of more
Yeah.
like how society has evolved with like Tinder and hookup culture because I feel that's dumb because there are people
Mhm.
who do partake in that and that's their business. And there's some people who don't partake in that and that's their business. So it's just like and I guess there are some people who do both. And I guess with Tinder it can lead to a long-term emotionally fulfilling relationship
Yeah.
as well. So I feel like it should have been more on the fact that the reason that she goes to Ian is because she's like she did actually talk about this how they're for survival. I feel like yeah, it should have been more on how she kind of believes that relationship is for survival if it's like financial or actual survival and how it's finite. And I
Mhm.
feel maybe that they should have set up more with Jacob like at the beginning and like kind of maybe how she's scared to actually fall in love with him and how she kind of wants to stay with Ian because she sees Ian as like a survival tactic, but she's scared to actually be with Jacob because she believes that relationships only happen for a certain time and then they break off because her
Yeah.
parents got divorced. I feel like that could have been better because I
You
hate
should
when
have been
movies
on
are
the team. Oh
say that again.
gosh. You should have been on the writing team or whatever. Like you
I'd
were.
be I'd be pretty good. Netflix, Hulu, Showtime, HBO, hit me up for one of your writers' rooms. Like, love to do it.
Yeah, that would have been such a good idea to just focus on that.
hmm Because yeah, it seems like there's so many shows where it's like the whole premise is like, "Ah, I'm just a quirky girl who
Mhm.
thinks that called the societal norm of hookup culture and Tinder dates that only lead to sex is boring, and I just want true romantic love." Like overplayed
Yeah.
so much. Like in reality, yes, there are people who are like that, but most people either A are part of it or B don't care because they're not a part of it.
Mhm.
Because the fact that she's like going on about how she doesn't want to be part of it just makes her seem annoying because like why are you going to complain and moan about something that you're not even going to do, you know? Like it should be like I don't know. So after I've just went on my tangent, let's talk about Nikki. Did you like Nikki as the side character? Did
uh,
you think that she was a good character? Um, I'll actually start with this one so you can gather your thoughts. As we were talking about with Cursed, how we were talking about foil characters, I think
yeah.
just in general with shows, there's like if you have two female leads, there's a foil with them. There will be like maybe the quirky nerdy one, which is Blake, and then like kind of like the brash badass girl, which is Nikki. So
Mhm.
they do foil each other. I feel like though that they should have kind of had more scenes to understand why they're friends
Yeah.
because you don't like it seems like from what I got the like I thought that they were like solely roommates and not really friends. They were just friendly towards each
Mhm.
other. But then you see them hanging out and whatever, and it's just like, oh,
You know, when Ian comes to the apartment or wherever, and talks to Nikki, And oh wait, no, Nikki talks to him. Nikki's like, oh yeah, we like hated each other for like the first few months, and then so and so died. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, maybe you should have explained a little more about that. Like,
Yeah.
what happened when that person died? Who was that person? Your other roommate?
No, I think it was a writer. I think
Oh,
she
a
was
writer?
referencing. Yeah.
Wait, then why would she? Why would they care? Oh gosh.
Because maybe Nikki also likes writing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. She seems to like movies more, like the writing in movies rather than
Mhm.
like journalism.
Yeah. I want to say this. I feel like the movie was too short.
It was. It was.
So it was an hour and 21 minutes,
Yeah. It felt
which
like the first half was just setting up the story, and then you're like,
yeah,
wait, that was the story?
yeah,
That was like supposed to be part of it?
yeah. Especially because there was no climax really. Like I guess you
Yeah.
could kind of say the rape scene was a climax scene, which
Yeah.
could make sense because not all climax scenes have to be like
I think that does.
explosions in the background and fighting and like dramatic violin music. It can be quiet and soft. I want to use the word intimate because obviously that's not what
Yeah.
rape is.
Quiet and soft, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
God.
That makes more sense. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
loud to be impactful. That's what I'll say.
It definitely, I think that definitely was the climax because like the ending build up was where she was like, oh yeah, like everything was great. We had like a ton of concrete plans, and then it's like, okay, now we don't have a concrete plan. Now
Mhm.
everything's gonna go downhill. Um,
Yeah.
and that's what happened. Everything
Mhm.
went downhill because they didn't have concrete plans anymore, which
Yeah.
seemed to be what she was seeing as romantic, but then she started to realize like that's not really what romance is. Like romance
Mhm.
isn't just concrete plans and timing. Like I'd like to go to your house sometimes.
Yeah.
Show up myself.
Like it's like a mix of concrete plans and spontaneity.
Yeah.
Mhm. Also, okay, so the when Ian takes Blake to the wedding, and then I think his name is George or something,
Yeah.
right?
Some
Um,
just
when George
doofus.
like
I don't
corners
know.
Blake and tries to make out with her, and then she's like, "Nah, fam," and then leaves, and then I feel like there should have been more to that. I feel like that could have been a very interesting set-off scene, maybe that makes Ian mad because, like George would be like, "Oh yeah, Blake tried to come up on me. You gotta control
Yeah.
her or whatever." And then that could have possibly done like a rift thing. In
I don't know. That like wasn't the case, you know, and she
yeah,
doesn't seem like that type of person either.
that type of
Um,
person.
to like, I guess, not be faithful.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah.
she seems a little too nice for that. I guess I thought that that scene was there just to show how people might try to take advantage of these, I guess, sugar babies. Um,
Mhm.
and just assume that, you
They'd be
know, you
down
give
for
them
it
what
or
they
whatever.
want, they'll give you sex, and yeah, they're down for it.
Yeah.
No. And then I guess also it was kind of weird because you could see that he was obviously the one in power, but he was like talking a little bit like she was the one in power. He was like, "Well, what do you want?" Like,
Mhm.
like my money is in the hands of you, but at the same time, like I'm cornering you. It was very confusing about where the power was.
Well, I think obviously the power was to George
Yeah, yeah,
because he wanted a quote consensual hookup.
yeah,
Because I think all the power was with George because he's saying, "So what can I give you?" That doesn't really give power to Blake because I feel like that's just kind of saying like, "How
yeah,
can I buy you?"
yeah. Maybe it was like, yeah, it's
Because
definitely sort of a manipulation tactic.
because obviously that was a very rapey esque
Yeah, it
scene,
was very, very.
and I was surprised that didn't go anywhere. I thought that was actually going to go somewhere when Blake like goes to Ian's house after. She knocks on the door, and then Ian's like, "What are you doing? You gotta leave. This isn't how it works." Two things. Number one, I thought something was going to happen with the George and Blake scene, like that was going to somehow evolve a
Uh,
little. Or B, he had a second sugar baby or something like that
mhm,
over at his house, and like something could have gone from there. Like I feel like the premise of the movie is very good. It's just that the execution of the movie wasn't exactly the best
mhm.
because
Yeah.
like there were good characters, and I feel like exploring, like as I was saying before, exploring a relationship with Jacob, but being scared because she believes that relationships are finite or they're only for like a need as something like sex. Like maybe it could have been like she was more, instead of she believed in romance, she doesn't like where she wants romance, but she believes it's dead. She believes it's dead and also doesn't want romance because she doesn't believe that it really exists. And that's why she's scared to fall in love with Jacob. And that's why she turns to being a sugar baby, because she can kind of, quote, believe in it because it's what she believes in, where it's a finite survival relationship between two people. Also, the part when, okay, so when Ian finds the journal of Blake,
Mhm. Yeah, that was.
two things. Number one, why'd she have the journal with?
I guess because she writes on the go or whatever, like whenever she finds time. But at the same time, you weren't going to be finding any time then.
So, what were you doing? Number two, I thought that somehow a few things. So in the end, when she's like, "I'm gonna use my real name now," and then she says
Yeah,
Blake Conway, I thought she was gonna say something else, and I thought the whole time, this whole movie, she had been using a pseudonym or
that's
something
what
like
I
that.
thought too.
So
Like,
I was like, wait a sec. I thought all these names were gonna be fake, and like I don't know, because the way that it seemed that this movie was written was that everything that's happening on screen is more or less getting written on her blog. So I think that could have been very interesting if like you just learn, like maybe like she never really says Jacob's name, and they in like I don't know, somehow like she calls him like I don't know, Tim or something. Um, until like the last scene when she calls him Jacob and she says signing off, and then she says like I don't know, her real name, like Grace something. I don't know.
yeah, that, that
I
could
feel
have been, I guess,
yeah, like that would have been really good because then that would have, in a sense, made the movie meta, which
meta.
yes, breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I get what you're saying now. You're saying the actress's name written?
What?
No, okay, never mind. I'm not getting what you're saying then.
No, so
Okay.
I'm saying what would be really interesting. So yeah, like she's like, oh, my name is like Grace. I don't know. Let's give her the last name Smith. Signing off, Grace Smith. And then like the whole time you just realize that you were watching the movie, but this movie was just in a sense her blog, but
Oh,
visualized.
interesting.
Yeah,
Like it was just stories?
kind like okay. So like on her blog where she like you're following her adventure of the hopeless romantic.
Yes.
So when she signs off using her real name, Grace Smith, then you realize that this whole movie that you've been watching is just her blog post, but visualized.
So did in this thing, did the events actually happen?
Yeah, and
Oh.
the events happen on her blog thing, like that's like the thing, like that's what I'm trying to say.
I don't understand.
It's
Oh
okay.
gosh. Okay.
Also, okay, so I want to say another thing. So I searched up the budget for this movie. So budget affects actors, sets, props, editing, whatever. The only thing it doesn't affect is the writing of the movie, right?
Yeah. Well,
Well,
yeah.
it kind of does because, yeah, you're paid. This movie had a $1 million budget.
Okay.
So, like, with everything we've said, I feel like the movie did very well with $1 million. They were very smart and I want to say cutting corners, but like from what it seems like, which I think is what made the movie even better, just like the fact that Blake nor Nikki nor Matt nor Jacob like wear like quote name brand stuff. They like wear stuff that that you would find anywhere.
Yeah. I honestly thought a lot of intention maybe went into the clothes toward the end
Hmm.
because after she like broke it off with Ian, she like went out and she was wearing that yellow sweater again. And then after that, she was hanging out with Nikki, and she was wearing the same thing she wore at that party, the costume party, the same shirt. So it felt like they were like intentionally unwinding the story back to, I guess, maybe her emotional state before, or maybe like realizing that she was fine before that, and she was, I guess, at that party she met whatever his name is. Um,
Matt.
yeah, Matt. So maybe unwinding it to just back to that so that she could be in a relationship with him. I don't
Hmm.
know. It just felt intentional.
Possibly. And I actually didn't realize that, so I guess it's nice that you pointed that out
Thank
and
you.
stated that. So I want to go back to the music though. So, um, I think the song that so one of the songs they played it was the song where you kind of see the montage of Nikki and Blake, and they just came from the convenience store and with their beers and whatever.
Oh yeah.
The song that they play is Something Like Summer by Cave Boy.
Cave boy.
Great song. I think that song was perfect for that. Like that whole song is kind of like the vibe of the whole movie, if that makes sense. Because it's the song just kind of gives like in a sense do I want to say it's like because the whole I want to say the movie is a satire, but in a sense it kind of satirizes itself because it's like, oh yeah, if this were a romantic comedy, then blah de blah blah blah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. True.
So in those songs, I shouldn't say it's usually. It's usually no. I'll say yeah. It's usually summer or winter. It's never fall or spring for some reason.
Oh yeah.
It's always those two. So I wanted to say that so the song something like summer because this movie it does this it takes place in I think it does take place during summer
Yeah.
or
I
something like
mean,
that.
to be honest, this does take place in Canada, which does have a very summer winter vibe sometimes.
And so I think the song is just that vibe of the song is kind of the vibe of the movie.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
if you want to know the vibe of the movie, just watch or not watch, listen to the song, and boom, there you go.
There you go. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else to really say about the movie. Do you have anything that you really did or didn't like that we haven't said yet?
Um, Not really. I could just speak a little bit more on the fact that it's a Canadian movie. Just 'cause like all the characters seem to be
Sure.
like chill and nice. Like even when Ian's not being nice, he's still chill and somewhat nice. I guess, it's just they feel so Canadian. But also, okay, so River, I was like, I know this actor. Who is this actor? Oh, he's Beck from Victorious. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's actually Canadian. Like that wasn't just a joke in the show. He's actually Canadian. Wow. Um, anyways,
But that's what you actually remembered him from as
yes,
back. Victoria. Actually, no, that's probably what a lot of people remember him from.
Yeah.
When I saw him, I thought of the character Ulysses from Now Apocalypse on Stars. That's what I thought because I rewatched the show. Great, it's a great show. Only got one season though. Should have gotten more. But anyways, yeah, that's what it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah. I
You
think I think his character in this movie though was probably my favorite because he's just really funny. I liked it when what was the main character's name again?
Blake.
Blake. When Blake was like, "So you're trying to like pimp me out?" He was like, "No, I'm not going out like this. Just have your column." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that was great."
Oh yeah, that was funny. Just like, so you're saying that I have to date him to get my column back? He's like, no. He's like, but you won't give me my column back if I don't date him. I thought that was a little funny scene.
It was, yeah.
I don't have anything else to say either.
Me neither.
So now I ask you, would you or would you not recommend this movie?
Let's see. Would I? Probably not. Just
Oh,
because
oof.
I don't really have anybody to recommend it to.
Okay. Um, Personally, for me, I would recommend it because I did talk about how I would make the movie better. But for what it is, I think it's not that bad of a movie.
Yeah.
Like the acting is pretty good. Cause they got great actors in the show, or not the show, the movie. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jessica Barden, she's great. Camila Mendes, she's great. Brett Deer, he's great. Haley Law, I haven't seen Haley Law in anything, but she was pretty good in this. Avon, oh my god, how do you pronounce his last name? I was gonna say it wrong. Avon Jogia. They're all very good actors. So they have a good acting. It's not like bad acting, so that's good.
Yeah.
The coloring of the movie, I think it's pretty okay. The costumes of it are good as well. Um, I actually did recommend it to a friend. Obviously, this isn't a movie for everyone. I feel though that this could be like kind of an interesting, like it's not a romance movie, so don't watch it for the romance. But it's like
I mean, yeah,
it's
it's not really a
it's
romance. It's like a
yeah,
wannabe romance.
yeah. It's like it's an experimental movie because it explores being a sugar baby. So
Yeah.
I'd say if you kind of want to look into what it's like being a sugar baby, then maybe look watch this movie. Or I guess you could also watch it to pick it apart if you want, if you're like that.
If you're like that. Yeah, that is true.
But yeah, okay. So you have nothing else to say. So that was our review on the movie The New Romantic. Next week, we are going to be watching the movie A Silent Voice on Netflix with a featured guest, our friend Megan.
Yay.
Yep. So that was our review. This is the A&R Podcast. I'm your co-host Ryan.
And I'm your other co-host, Addison.
We will see you next week. Peace.